Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. What it do? Peace. What's good? Shalom. Black Power. Abibi for Holier. This is your boy Solar Mind once again doing another test run. As what I said, we're going to continue to give y'all information. We're going to continue to live stream. We're going to keep pushing this thing to this thing pop. It ain't popping yet. I'm not satisfied yet. We got 11 subscribers within the past I guess 3 hours. That's not good enough. Keep on subscribing. Keep on hitting that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go to that description link below and subscribe now. Right now is the time to do it. Subscribe now. I'm sorry. I'm doing so much thing. In the Black Media is the YouTube page that I personally have. But this is BlackandNobel Media. Make sure you subscribe to BlackandNobel Media. We have 11 subscribers, and I appreciate those 11 subscribers, but we got to get it even more popping, more subscribers. Keep it pushing. Keep this thing rolling so we can get this thing popping. And once again, as what I said earlier, it's going to be some excellent personalities. We're going to bring this conscious thing back. We're going to make it informative. It's going to be about the information. It's going to be strictly about the information. And yeah, excellent, personalities. As what I said earlier, brother TJ, we schedule him to come on Mondays between 6 and 8 p.m. And also we got EJ. And EJ is going to be dealing with sports. And he will be starting this Friday. It will be this Friday he's going to start it. So make sure you're in the building for brother EJ. That's in a couple of days. He's going to give you that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? And we know about Adam Jones, the baseball player that they was calling nigga up in the stands. This shit goes always back to Jackie Robinson. They calling the black man nigga on the baseball field. And you know why they call him the black man nigga? And this is something I'm pretty sure he's going to knock out the park, brother EJ. It's because he said that baseball is the white man's sport. Is it not? Is it not the white man's sport? But on some real shit, all of them fucking sports is the white man's sport. You know why they all are the white man's sport? Because he controls the money. He owns the teams. He controls the players. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's making the most money off of these athletes. So all those sports, whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's tennis, whether it's any sport, baseball, whatever you want to call. And soccer, since we brought that up, is one of the most racist sports in the world. This is a problem. This is a problem, and this is why Brother EJ is doing his live streams. This is why Brother EJ got a show every week. So, once again, you have to be in the building. You have to get the information. This is not going to be on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith can't tell it like it is the way EJ is going to break it down. He said on the video. He actually was debating back and forth with Howard Eskin. And we know how Howard Eskin do. He's like the Rush Limbaugh of sports. He's like the Bill O'Reilly of Philadelphia when it comes to sports. And he was able to manhandle Howard Eskin. He was able to manhandle him intellectually. So this is a very powerful brother. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be in the building every week. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you be in the building for that. You know what I'm saying? Brother TJ, if y'all not aware of him by now, anybody who's an avid follower of ITBM and the black media knows Brother TJ. You know what he deals with. He deals with issues concerning going into the black community, and specifically he deals with issues with the black female. Very controversial, very offensive. I talked to him earlier. He said that if I'm not offending nobody, that means I'm not doing my work. You know what I'm saying? So, very controversial individual. He has a very strong opinion. So, definitely very interesting brother. these are what we bring to the table, you know, along with a whole litany of other things, from live interviews to live shows. We're bringing the rappers out, you know what I'm saying? Right now, as we speak, in Black and Nobel, right now, they're doing a live spoken word, where up and coming artists has the opportunity to display their talent. So it's an ongoing thing. This is 24/7, 365. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're in the building. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you hit that notification sign too after you subscribe, because that will let you know every time we're posting up. It's going to be every day. You're going to be like, damn, is another? Is something else? Is something else? Nowhere else you can go. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give it 24/7. Welcome. Welcome to the new era of consciousness. We gotta hit that there. And I must do, also, shout out to Brother Ogard. Shout out to Brother Ogard, ITBM3. Make sure you subscribe to ITBM3. He's just posted a new video up. You know what I'm saying? You know what he deals with. You know what Brother Ogard deals with. Issues concerning the conscious community. He keeps it real. He gives his honest opinion. He breaks it down to the last compound. Shout out to Brother Oh God. Make sure you subscribe to ITBM3. Once again, ITBM3. And that's ITBM Uncensored. That's what he calls it now. ITBM3 Uncensored. So, when you subscribe to that, make sure you give Brother Solomon a shout out as well. We all together. We all together. It's all one thing. We all one. ITBM2, the official channel. I get into, my whole little thing. I like to talk about issues concerning the Black community as well. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of keep it broad. I don't deal with one specific topic. You know what I'm saying? Whatever comes on to my mind at this time, I'm going to be, I may have something popping on Black and Nobel at least once a week, you know what I'm saying, to make this thing full circle, you know what I'm saying? So definitely, we got a whole bunch of people that's willing to speak, willing to put their opinions, willing to put their minds together so we can give the people what they need. That's consciousness, uplifting the minds of the community with all the hoopla that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because we need entertainment. Definitely we need entertainment at this day and time. But we got a whole litany of entertainment now. We got a whole litany of entertainment now. It's time to bring the consciousness back. It's time to bring the information back. Shout out to Brother Levi. Shout out to Brother Hakeem. Shout out to Tice and the Black and Nobel family. Definitely have been doing this thing for years now. They've been holding this thing down for years now. In fact, I bought my first book out of Black and Nobel. And the title of that book was Why So Many Black Men Are in Prison. And I still have that book, actually. Where's that book at? I have a whole library now, but that was my very first book. That book right there was my very first book. And I don't think I could see it right now. Maybe it's in my other bookshelf. You know what I'm saying? But yes, the title caught my attention. I was captivated just simply by the title, because me not being conscious, I wasn't conscious, but I didn't know it was a lot of black men in prison. I didn't know that. So when I came into the store, I just happened to glance and see why so many black men are in prison. I said, that's a very interesting question. Why are so many black men in prison? So Brother Hakeem, I think it was Brother Hakeem or Brother Tice, one of them, they said, well, buy the book and find out. I said, yeah, that would be the thing to do. If I'm asking a question, and the question was the title, and it captivated me. So, I bought the book, and it broke down, why so many black men in prison. It got into the industrialization of the prisons, the privatization of the prisons. It got into the war on drugs and the epicure laws that was designed systematically to imprison drug offenders. Drugs, by the way, that was pushed into the black community via the CIA. Gary Webb wrote an excellent book called Dark Alliance where he breaks this down, that the CIA is responsible for putting crack cocaine into areas such as Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago. Just spread it all across the country, and it introduced us into the era we call the crack era, which lays basis for the topic at hand. The topic at hand was integration a mistake? Was it a mistake that we integrated into mainstream society? Now, in order for us to really properly, give an overview as to the series of events that transpire, which will lead us headlong into integration, we have to take a step back into when we begin, when this whole thing began, or even before that. We have to go into the Jim Crow era. Plessy versus Ferguson, for those who are unaware of what Plessy versus Ferguson, it was a decision in the course that was made after the Emancipation Proclamation and those different amendments that was passed, which gave African Americans freedom from chattel slavery. After those amendments was passed, after the Emancipation Proclamation was enforced, you find that it ushered us into a whole new era. The whole new era was the Jim Crow era. And the Plessy versus Ferguson decision pretty much said that everything was supposed to be separate but equal, which we know that was a damn lie. It was not separate but equal. But anyway, that's what the decision was. It led into this whole social, cesspool. I guess I could categorize it as, whereas though, you had us being exploited by the sharecrops, but at the same time, once we get exploited for the sharecrops, okay, take your ass back to your community, take your ass back to your schools, et cetera, et cetera. Schools in which did not meet the standard in comparison to their white counterpart. So with that being all put on the table, despite of that, we still strived. We still did our damn thing. You know what I'm saying? We still did our damn thing. We still pushed, and we still took what the little that we had, and we made it into something. You know what I'm saying? So let me see if let me check out this chat room real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me see if this joint actually is working. Yeah, so despite of the fact that they gave us secondhand shit. You know what I'm saying? Despite of the fact that they gave us secondhand shit, we were still able to thrive. We were still able to create Black Wall Street. We were still able to do excellent things. You know what I'm saying? Which will help elevate us as a people at that particular group of time. As what I named Black Wall Street. That is a very critical time in history, because at that particular time you had a lot of soldiers coming back from the First World War. And when I say soldiers, I'm talking about those white soldiers. Those poor white soldiers came back from World War I, and they began to see Black progress. They began to be very jealous of that Black progress, and they systematically destroyed Black Wall Street, along with a lot of other areas. You said Rosewood, and also with what was going in the draft riots in Harlem. These events, I guess, pushed or gave African Americans the mind state to say that, well, they don't really want us to progress in this separate but equal society. So this is going to continue to happen. So I guess the mind state at that time for them was basically we should integrate in with them. Now you had the NAACP going into 1954. You have the NAACP challenging the separate but equal, and the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education, desegregated the schools. So now they're pushing the schools, pushing the children into the schools. Everybody knows the video where you got the soldiers actually forcing the Black children into schools. I don't know who the hell their parents was, because my daughter would not been out there with all that craziness going on around them. Just just to be like the I guess the catalyst or the tool used to pretend as if they are moving forward, from their racism. I mean, I don't know the mind state of the people back then, but like, why would you put your children into that crazy environment? I don't understand. But anyway, you know, the schools were quote unquote desegregated. Dr. Umar breaks this down to the last compound when he speaks on, how yes, the schools has been desegregated technically, but really this ushered us into a whole nother era where so now they begin to classify our children, as having learning disabilities, and they they systematically set this whole thing up where so the more special needs students that you have, the more funding that you get from the schools. So it became more so like a business where the teacher began to become um, sort of a doctor to classify who needs, extra help far as learning, and who has these learning disabilities such as ADD, and things of that nature. So definitely, you know, um, all this is coming with integration. Now, when you look at that last era, for example, all the excellent minds that came during that era, all the excellent thinkers, all the excellent inventors, because that's a whole nother topic in itself. You could look at the whole series of inventors that came to fruition at that particular time. You know, once we begin to become integrated, it set some things in motion. And I'll be very quick with this. I actually did a similar video on ITBM2, the official channel. So I'm gonna put that in the description box later, so you can subscribe to that channel as well. But it set some things in motion. It kind of like it changed the black community severely because you know laws such as affirmative action. When affirmative action was passed, it basically was saying that you have to hire a certain amount of African Americans or minorities, within your corporation, within your company, within your business. So that had a reaction on the black community because they can't hire all the black people. So they had to have their choice as to who they was going to hire, right? So it changed the black community from working together in an environment which they knew white people ain't want to fuck with them. They knew that certain towns. It's a book called Sundown Towns. I have it over there as well. Whereas though it was certain places that you just couldn't go at nighttime because you might not get out alive. You know, and if you read about the rapists that went on during the Jim Crow era, it will almost shock you. Reese Teller. Read about Reese Teller, how the four white men raped her, and then they paid off her husband, not to testify. And he actually took the money. These are the things that was going on during that particular era. For those who are unaware, you know. So with all this madness, with all this havoc, with all this confusion, now you're integrating them in, you know, because at that particular time it was clear they knew who the enemy was, and it was clear who the enemy was. With the desegregation now, it's a little different. They had to kind of shy away from certain racist rhetoric that they used to, well, was able to spew freely during that particular era. You know, and it made us, the illusion of inclusion, the inclusion of confusion, because a lot of African Americans they begin to become confused as to who their enemy was at this point in history. So now you have everybody running to get the affirmative action spot. So now we go from working together to now competing with each other. And whoever gets the job, oh, they got extra money. So now they could quote unquote floss on the rest of the community. In fact, they don't even want to live in a community no more. They want to go and live with the white folks. So now you don't really have a community anymore because for the most part, the organizers, the white collar workers, the thinkers were the ones that actually were able to get those type of jobs on a massive scale. Now the blue collar workers, the grassroots workers, the people that put the boots on the ground, the soldiers, they were the ones that was less likely to get those positions. Thus, you have as a result, you know, um, a community dismantled. No organizers, you know, no organizers in the community. Now you have a community dismantled, and it would leave it open for the crack to be pushed into the community, as what I said earlier. Crack being pushed into the community via the CIA. Now they're not going to tell you that once it happens. They're going to wait 30 years later to reveal it to you, as what they did, and then try to make it like it's a big conspiracy. Nah, it's already done its work. You know what I mean? Now you're looking at the whole, especially on the East Coast, the whole East Coast is being gentrified. Cities such as Harlem, cities such as Philadelphia, cities such as Baltimore, D.C., you know, are being gentrified. They planned that shit in the 80s. That shit was being planned in the 80s. Do know that. So, was integration a mistake? Could Martin Luther King's dream be something that we have to look at hindsight and say that, well, maybe we should have followed a more separatist ideology, such as the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, teachings of the of Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali. Would we have been better off if we stuck to the format of the Black Panthers and protecting our community from police brutality? Would Trayvon Martin had died if we had, people such as Huey P. Newton, Geronimo Pratt, standing on the forefront protecting our community from police brutality? That is something to think about. That is something to think about. Was integration a mistake? We are a generation headlong into this thing now. Has black people made progress since desegregation occurred? That is something to think about. This is your boy Solomon, once again, telling you to subscribe to BlackandNobel Media. And also, I'm going to put in the description box ITBM2, the official channel, where I'll be posting up videos daily. So support your brother, support the platform, support BlackandNobel Media. Once again, shout out to Tice, shout out to Brother Hakeem and the BlackandNobel family. This is your boy Soul of Mine signing out. Peace and Black Power.